The mics are on, Little Red is okay, and this is episode 3 of Our Disney Opinions. My name is Jason, I am one of your hosts, and I am joined by my lovely co-host in life. Her name is Julie, and she sounds just like this.
Hi, welcome.
So now we can welcome them officially on YouTube, where they've probably been listening and watching, but also on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, because we're now all 3 of those places.
Yay.
So wherever you'd like to listen to podcasts, we are there waiting for you. So hooray, it's good news.
It's great.
And a
It's
few
exciting.
people have sampled those places. So thank you to everybody who's listening and sharing our podcast. We appreciate it. And as a reminder, we are travel planners with Goofy Getaways. If you are looking to plan a trip to Disney, we'd love to help you out. Just head to goofygetaways.com or find us on Facebook at Goofy Getaways with Jason and Julie. And actually, we have one more person to join us tonight. We got some new equipment that lets us take phone calls. So we get to be joined by the guy who has joined me at the top of Splash Mountain at midnight more times than any other person that I know. His name is Josh, and he sounds just like this.
Hi, everybody. I'm straight off of sampling new exciting foods at Epcot last night. So I'll have a good time with Jason and Julie today while you sample their podcast on the new platforms.
Excellent. Yes. Did I say he was my brother?
No.
Oh, what a dummy. That's a terrible introduction.
I hope you're calling you a dummy, not him.
Me. That was
We like him.
Like I wanted to get the Splash Mountain thing in there because that was one of my favorite
Yeah, you got
vacation
that.
memories with my brother. So that's my brother Josh. He's down in Florida and he's joining us via the telephone.
Hi, Josh. It's nice to hear your voice.
Yay, it's fun to be here.
Yes, but I don't want to hear any more about how you were at Disney World yesterday because I was not.
No, that's literally why we called him.
That's actually what we're talking about today. But anyways, should we start off with 3 things?
Yeah.
All right.
So my topic for 3 things is I want to know your top 3 non-ride attractions at Disney World. What are your favorite 3 things that are not a ride?
This is kind of free flowing here, but definitely Muppet Vision 3D is going to be one of mine. Because you're thinking like shows and
shows and
movies and things like that.
Yes.
Cars and trucks and things that go. Definitely Muppet Vision 3D over at Hollywood Studios.
That's a good one.
It's so good, and the pre-show better than the attraction sometimes. I love the pre-show so much.
You quote it a lot.
I do quote it a lot. It'll come up, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So that one, gosh, this is harder because we tend to just hit the rides. Festival of the Lion King over at Animal Kingdom.
I knew you were going to say that.
I love that one, even though sometimes we don't get to see the whole thing. I do love that one. And let's see. I feel like there's got to be something at Epcot. Does eating count as an attraction? Probably not.
I mean, we can change the rules to be whatever you want.
No, that's okay.
We do it all the time.
I'll keep sticking with attractions. I think when the kids were littler, I really liked Storytime with Belle. Enchanted Storytime with Belle over at Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
So I think those are my 3: Muppet Vision and Legend of the Lion King and Storytime with Belle.
Those are a good 3. You took one of mine.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hooray. Josh, do you need more time?
No.
Okay.
No, I think I'm ready to go here.
All right, have at it.
So with food being out of the picture, unfortunately, I was going to choose food.
Well, I'm with you with food.
If I can't ride a ride, I just want to eat.
Disney food in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
German beer garden at Epcot, any of the resorts. I think those food choices definitely rank up there for me. But since they're not part of my top 3,
okay,
they can be a bonus. They're the bonus answer,
right? That's bonus points.
Yes.
So I'm going to go with Muppet Vision 3D as well, because, as you know, I quote that in my daily life.
You do
quite often.
And getting the 2 of you together in that environment is a hoot.
I feel like we are the pre-show sometimes.
You are.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. I think my whole family walked through the pre-show the other day when we didn't get to go on go on Muppet Vision. I said, this isn't a ride. This is a show.
Right.
That's okay.
But okay.
We got
Anyway, number 2, it's a new one here. I'm going to go with Finding Nemo the musical
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
at Animal Kingdom.
Yeah. I feel like that's go ahead. Sorry.
It's air conditioned.
Yeah, true.
Air conditioned at Animal Kingdom is a commodity.
Yes.
And all the puppets and music will be in your head for the day. So that's a big win for me. And number three is hard. I was going to say Festival of the Lion King, but I want to add something new. So I'm going to go Voyage of the Little Mermaid.
Oh, I didn't think about that one.
The
at
show.
Hollywood Studios. The show.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
With the blacklight puppeteers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I feel like that one with all the effects on is really awesome. And I feel like over the last few years, they've kind of let some of the effects dwindle, like the smoke and the lasers at the beginning as you go under the water. But
I remember the lasers.
I think
last
in
time
its
we went on
heyday,
it.
it was really awesome. But even now, still excellent, and the music's good.
I still like it. I think that's a good choice.
All right.
Excellent. Good choices.
Successful.
So question asker.
Okay. So, yeah, you took mine. Both of you. Because I said story time with Belle because I just think that's so sweet. And our kids are probably so old, they probably won't do that anymore with us. But it was really fun when they were little. So I would send people with young kids there anytime. And then I have my little notes here. I put Festival of the Lion King and I put Finding Nemo the musical. Just in case you picked one, then I would say the other one. But you both picked both of them. So way to go. I like both of those. I love the puppets in Finding Nemo the musical and how the puppeteers interact. Like they are the puppets and they interact with the audience. They're just so cool. But my third one I picked was Monsters, Inc. Laugh Floor over at Magic Kingdom.
Ooh.
I like the jokes. I know they're designed not to be good, but I think it's pretty funny. And just, I love the little moments that they have where they pick someone out of the audience to be Boo. And it's really sweet.
Yeah. I like the improv of it. I feel like it's not necessarily always as improv-y. They've got their, their set segments, but it does feel a little bit like a throwback to Comedy Warehouse at Pleasure Island.
A little, as much as you can.
As much as you can.
That format.
Being in a theme park.
Yeah. But I think it's fun.
Well, good list. Good list, everyone. Nice work.
Well done.
My 3 things for the group is 3 Disney hotels that you have not stayed at but would really like to. And Josh, this is probably harder for you because I feel like you guys have made your way through quite a few of them since you're local and you are down there and can get away every so often. But I bet there are 3 that you haven't stayed at that you'd like to.
Yeah.
Julie's
definitely.
taking notes.
I'm jotting my thoughts down.
I think I'm gonna choose to start on this one.
Okay,
if you don't mind.
Yeah, jump right in.
All right. So I have never stayed at Wilderness Lodge. So that's going to be my number 1. We've eaten at Wilderness Lodge plenty of times.
Yeah, we talked about that last month, that you guys had been enjoying getting back to Whispering Canyon.
Yeah.
We frequented Whispering Canyon 3 times since COVID reopening.
Really?
So, yeah, it's definitely great food options, and we're really looking forward to trying a bison burger out at the Vacation Club restaurant out on the water.
Nice.
Neat.
Supposedly, there's a really good food out there. So Whispering Canyon, Wilderness Lodge, definitely top of my list to want to stay at.
Awesome.
And I'm going around the whole resort as I think about these. I've stayed at Grand Floridian. I've stayed at Polynesian. I haven't stayed at Contemporary knowing what I was doing. I've been told I stayed there when I was 3 or 4 or 2. So I would like to stay at Contemporary when I actually know what's going on. So I'm going to take Contemporary as my second choice. And
That's fair.
I could lump that with Bay Lake Tower, as that's the Vacation Club portion of Contemporary. So I'll lump those 2 together. And then the third is a recent opening, and that's the Riviera Resort
Yes, I
Awesome.
definitely have my eye on that too.
Over by Caribbean. We walked through, we took the gondolas in December, I think it was, right after it opened. We took the gondolas over and walked through on a rainy day. We walked through the building. The resort looks absolutely beautiful, but we have not gotten a chance to stay there yet. So that is number 3 for me of places that I would like to stay at Disney World.
Excellent. That Riviera seems like an awesome location, kind of along with Yacht and Beach Club and Boardwalk, and that whole Epcot Studios area seems really excellent for especially people who love Epcot.
Awesome. Those are good choices.
Yes, agreed.
Yay!
Yay!
So my 3, I had to take a couple of notes to remind myself because I have a lot more that I haven't stayed at than you guys. So I had to narrow it down. But my 3, I have not stayed at Polynesian, and I think that one would be really fun. We walk through it a lot. We go to Captain Cook's and we eat there, and it's beautiful, and I love it there. So I would love to stay there. Have never stayed at the beach club, although we recommend it to people a lot. So someday I'd really like to go stay there myself. And I know the kids really want to try out that pool too. And then my 3rd one, I'm pretty sure that I have not stayed at Animal Kingdom.
We have not stayed at Animal Kingdom Lodge, no.
Yeah. So that's my 3rd one because I like Animal Kingdom itself anyway. I love the animals in the savannah, and having it right there with Animal Kingdom Lodge I think would be really a fun, unique experience. So those are my 3.
Excellent. I like all of these choices. Sound great. I just want to go on vacation now.
I know.
So my 3. So I have a similar problem to Josh in that I think I've stayed at Polynesian when I was really, really young. But I also remember something about a snake in a stairwell. So I don't know if it was some kind of crazy dream that I had where I dreamt I was staying at the Polynesian when I was a kid and there was a snake in the stairwell.
I hope you're telling me that about a real event, honestly, because there are so few actual memories that you have of your childhood that if you're telling me you remember a dream from your childhood...
I just don't know. I think now that we have the phone thing working, I'm going to have Mom on to just go down the list of, did this really happen? Is this a real thing? And just go down my list and see. So I'm going to skip Polynesian because I think I've stayed there, but I'm not positive. So my first one is going to be cheating because I have stayed at the beach club, but I really want to stay there again. So I'm going to pick the yacht club because I haven't stayed at that side of it, just to see the difference in the rooms. Plus I want to get at the pool because that pool is fantastic.
I'm going to cut in.
Yeah.
If you haven't looked at it already, you should take a look at the new open concept yacht club lobby.
Ooh, I haven't yet.
Opened up.
Ooh.
Yeah, that just opened up the other day after the NBA left. They refurbished their lobby, and it is very much updated and very, very pretty.
Really?
Excellent.
Cool.
Excellent.
So when you stay there, you can take a look at the new lobby.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
That's awesome.
So that's my first one. And second, I think my second needs to be Grand Floridian. I don't know why we've never stayed there. I think we tend to gravitate to Caribbean and Coronado a lot. And then if we're going deluxe, we've ended up Boardwalk and Beach Club more often than not. So I'd really like to stay at the Grand Floridian. I love the food there. I love being on the monorail loop. It seems like it would be great.
We walk through it a lot.
Josh, I know you've stayed there before.
I did. We actually stayed. Susie and I stayed there when I proposed.
Aww.
So that was the only time we've stayed at Grand Floridian.
Really?
So
I thought you guys had been there. Other than
no,
that,
there was one time back in 2001.
When was that?
Right?
This is 2020, the year that never ends.
I think it was like 12.
Right.
Something like that. Another new feature, spoiler alert, another new feature of Grand Floridian, they're finishing the walking bridge so that you'll now be able to walk from Grand Floridian over to Magic Kingdom.
Yes.
That's great.
And I've heard that walk is actually kind of long compared to
I would think it would be.
compared to Contemporary, which also has a walking path. But I've heard that the Grand Floridian one actually, when it comes down to it, is pretty long. But I guess it remains to be seen.
Yeah, we'll try it out and we'll report back.
Excellent.
Yeah. Where's it going? I mean, I know where it's going. That's not what I mean.
Magic Kingdom?
No, but I mean, like, what's the route? It's a walking bridge. Is it just going over the water?
Yeah, it just kind of goes.
Just a straight shot?
Yeah, there's a movable bridge where the electrical water pageant floats come out of, and then you kind of walk over, I think right by Narcoossee's, right? Or kind of in that direction?
Yeah, you walk out along the water's edge, basically under the monorail track.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then you cross over that water pageant. That's the bridge that's being installed.
Cool.
Gotcha.
Is over by the water pageant waterway.
So Yacht Club and Grand Floridian, and then my third one is kind of strange. It's a moderate that I've never stayed at, but I really am looking forward to finding time to get to Port Orleans French Quarter, because I love all the Mardi Gras feel of that resort, and I've never stayed there. We've stayed at Riverside back when it was called Dixie Landings, way back in the day. I just want to get, I like the boat accessibility to Disney Springs. Moderates are always fun because you save a little money.
Yeah.
And I've heard the food in the food court is really good. I know we've popped in there for muffalettas before, and those sandwiches were excellent. But I believe you can get your Mickey beignets at Port Orleans French Quarter food court. Josh says you can.
Yeah. Yes. They pulled them out of the food court and they put the beignets in their own bar in the lobby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there is a beignet bar.
Interesting. Which probably opens up the food court lines to not be as long for people who just want regular breakfast, which is probably nobody. But why have regular breakfast when you could have a beignet?
I can't think of any reasons.
Excellent. All right, so those were my three. Excellent work, everyone.
Yay.
Awesome. Thanks for jumping into that, Josh.
Yes. So one of the reasons that we wanted to have Josh on, other than, he's pretty hilarious on his own, is that he and his family just finished a week at Walt Disney World, staying at Saratoga Springs over by Disney Springs. And we wanted to kind of get his impression and let our listeners know kind of what's going on down there and what it's like to be at Disney World now.
In October of 2020.
In October of 2020. Well, I guess you were there in September of 2020, but...
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's October, so I hope not much has changed in the last 2 weeks.
Not too much.
Not too much. So what are some of the most obvious differences that you saw during your week there versus, trips pre-COVID?
So the biggest thing, and the reason we actually chose to stay at Saratoga Springs, was the proximity to Disney Springs, mainly because the park hours had been cut so much. Magic Kingdom closed at 6. Epcot closed at 7. Hollywood Studios closed at 7. And I think Animal Kingdom closed at 6 at the time. So we knew that as far as a hotel goes, we were going to be back home real soon after the parks closed if we didn't have anything else to do.
Yeah.
So we made sure to be real close to Springs so that we could go explore Disney Springs every night.
Nice.
That was the biggest shocker post-COVID was the hours cut, because you want to try to get to the park early and get everything done as much as you can, and then all of a sudden it's nighttime and there's no fireworks and you don't have anywhere to go.
Right. And to be fair, this time of year, park hours, other than Epcot, most places aren't open until 10, 11, 12 in the fall, typically, but they're also not closing at 6 or 7.
So definitely slow season.
Yeah, for sure. As far as masks go and behavior of guests, what did you observe from your fellow guests?
So I can give you a lot of feedback here. We started going to Universal in June as soon as they opened. And we wore our masks, as did everyone else. They check your temperature before you get into the park. Mm-hmm. And you go in and everybody's had their temperature checked and everybody wears their masks. In the first few months, it was just Universal until Disney opened. And then once Disney opened, they did the exact same thing. So you go in and you have to wear a mask. You can't wear a gaiter. We found little elastic straps that connect the bands around your ears so that you don't necessarily have to have them around your ears the whole time.
Mm.
And they're little elastic hooks that go behind your neck. So if you haven't had to wear a mask for 8 hours in a day, like if you have to wear it at work, it's one thing. But if you're trying to enjoy a vacation in a park, you want to make sure you're as comfortable as possible in that mask so that you can have a good time.
Oh, that makes sense.
And wearing a lightweight mask is very beneficial. It's Florida, and it's right now it's still hot and
Still
humid.
hot, yeah.
Right.
So I don't care what they say about your oxygen level being the same. It's hot in the mask in Florida outside.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's right now that's kind of the price of admission, though, right? You kind of just agree to that of it's going to be uncomfortable, but if I want to go to Disney World, that's what I got to do.
Right. And it's the best part was everybody's doing it. You're not going in going, oh God, I wish that lady would put her mask on, or why is that guy coughing over there with no mask on? It's just everybody's giving each other space. The parks feel like you're at one of the private parties, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because when you go to a Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party or a Very Merry Christmas party, one of the events with they were at lower capacity to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we've experienced some of those with each other, and the lines are shorter and the crowds are lighter. The biggest difference is that there aren't the big nighttime spectaculars. There aren't those huge gathering points. So everybody just kind of moseys around and keeps out of each other's way.
That's good to hear. So one of the questions that we get from people that are, asking about upcoming trips or thinking about going, they want to know, with all of the mask regulations and all of the, no shows and no parades and things like that, does it still feel like a trip to Disney World?
It absolutely does. It absolutely does. They're doing cavalcades where they put the characters on parade floats or in cars, or in Animal Kingdom's case, they put them on boats that go around the river. And you can wave to your favorite characters, and you can see your favorite characters still. They're not in a big formal parade, but you're able to get that experience and have the music playing, and you're still walking into your familiar, fun place. Main Street still sounds like Main Street. Tomorrowland still sounds like Tomorrowland. Is it different? Yeah, of course it is. Going to the grocery store is different right now.
Right.
But as far as having a good time, we still made great memories that week. We laughed a lot. We got to probably ride more rides than we would have before.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels different, but it doesn't feel different enough not to want to do it. We obviously took a week of our time and said, hey, we want to still go to Disney World. And, we live 25 minutes away. So
Right, for sure.
Awesome.
You mentioned the grocery store, and that one of the things that I've noticed is that, as soon as early on in COVID, as soon as we all started wearing masks, people in the grocery store started to not worry about getting so close. And so, it wouldn't be uncommon to have somebody push past you down an aisle and kind of throw distancing to the wind because we all had our masks on. Do you run into that at Disney right now, or does everybody still kind of give each other space as you're walking around?
Well, when you're walking around, there's so much space built into these parks
that
true. You can choose to avoid a crowd. You can choose to slow down or speed up or walk around. It's not like you have those parade environments, when everybody would get bottlenecked.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So there's definitely room. And then as far as the lines go,
yeah,
they have on the ground marked every 6 feet a place for you to stand, for your party to stand.
Nice.
And it's not just, okay, we're going to put 4 lines at the beginning of the queue and you can figure it out after that. No, it's 6-foot line markings. And if you can picture Hollywood Studios for me, go walk back to Toy Story Land and go get in line for Slinky Dog Dash. And the markings for Slinky Dog Dash go all the way through the queue. And they have markings that continue all the way out of Toy Story Land.
Wow.
And all the way past Little Mermaid.
Wow.
Now you say, oh my gosh, that line is ginormous. Why would anybody stand in that line? Well, it's only about an hour. And the hour wait would usually be right outside the ride.
Right.
But
True.
because they have to distance everybody by 6 feet, that line just keeps going. So again, as far as being given the chance to have somebody push by and anyone else, everybody's pretty good about keeping their distance and staying on those lines. Yeah, you'll get some people that are on their phones and not paying attention, but heck, you can get that anywhere. But the planning portion is what we're really impressed with. The fact that they're looking at everything and making sure that they're making their best effort to keep people spaced out. And as the crowds grow, they keep adding more lines in some places. They're finding new ways to route people with their 6 feet apart, and they just keep drawing those lines on the ground.
Awesome. That sounds like it. Honestly, all that spacing sounds like it takes care of some of the things that I dislike in normal times. Can we keep doing that? Can we keep having 6 feet between us?
If we can keep us to 10% capacity for I don't know, ever.
All right, it's probably not sustainable.
No, probably not.
Sounds nice though.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so does it seem like it's getting more crowded as the months go by? Because I know they opened in July, Universal opened in June. Do you feel like it's getting more crowded, having been there more recently now?
Unfortunately, I have to say, yeah. Well, fortunately, this is a
Right.
double-edged sword.
It's
For a
okay.
local who
Sure.
wants to go with light crowds,
Right.
Yes, it's getting busier, and it's bothersome because it's like, hey, I want to go and ride this ride in 10 minutes.
Mhm.
Right.
But yeah, the crowds are back, especially on weekends, because Florida is back in school. So all of the annual pass holders who have been really, really, really missing out on their Disney experiences like to flock to the parks on the weekends. And that goes for Disney and Universal. Universal decided to open up some Halloween Horror Nights houses.
Yeah, I was wondering how they were going to do that.
Wow.
So instead of doing Halloween Horror Nights, they with the extra event
Right.
and houses and extra ticket, they have decided to open up 2 houses on the weekends.
Interesting.
And they might actually have them. I don't think they have them running throughout the week, but I know they have them on the weekends.
Okay.
So everybody that really liked Halloween Horror Nights get to go to the park, and they can choose to go to the houses during the day. So that's a huge draw for Universal.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then as far as Disney goes, you had Labor Day weekend, which was busy, and now Columbus Day. It seems like the crowds are coming a little bit more. From a hospitality standpoint, I know there are a lot of hotels that aren't open yet, and I know there are a lot of hotels that are struggling with it, and Disney's being very select in what hotels that they're opening.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I love to see people, even if it means longer waits. I love to see people around.
For sure.
It's such a great thing to see people coming back and again having a good time. And I think everybody at to your point before of do people give you space? I think everybody's just really happy to get out and be able to have the chance to be at Disney World.
For sure.
There's not a lot of grumpiness going on.
Yeah, and that's excellent. I mean, let's get as many people back in the parks as we can safely fit in there. we saw those layoffs, and that's a direct result of not being able to put people in the parks and people not wanting to travel. And let's have that be the only round of layoffs that we have to see, because that was a bummer. And I'm sure you've got, being a local and a former cast member, I'm sure you have friends that are no longer Disney cast members, and I hope not too many of them. But yeah, our thoughts go out to all those folks for sure.
Yeah, and to clarify on that a little bit, a lot of them were part-time and seasonal, but that doesn't mean that those people don't matter either.
Right,
those people are a huge part. And one loss is YeeHaw Bob at Dixie Landings.
Yes.
So Riverside.
Yeah. And I know that was one of your family's favorite, kind of free things to do at Disney was always to go see YeeHaw Bob.
Yeah,
not free, Bob, but I mean you could go hang out in that lounge.
Yeah, he's if you follow him on Facebook, it's Bob Jackson. He's still doing sing-alongs on Facebook. He's been doing them all through COVID. He does a lot of things that give kids the world. So if you're looking for some Disney music and a good time, you can go take a look at Bob Jackson on Facebook.
That's awesome.
Julie's already on her way. Right she's already digging it up.
I want to say he's done, I think he does 2 or 3 a week at least. And he set up a PayPal Me page so that he can make a little bit of money of people enjoying his music.
Nice.
And he plays piano and sings the Disney songs and goes through his whole routine live on Facebook. So
that's awesome. We're all saving so much on Disney vacations. We can probably toss a couple dollars his way and hope everybody can.
Right. Okay. I just liked his page. Anybody listening should do that too.
There you go. Yeah. We'll have a link. We'll have a link in the YouTube description to YeeHaw Bob and his Facebook page. So one of the things that I want to know about, because I mean, we were always a rope drop family, and I'm sure when we get back to, normal vacationing, we will go back to being a rope drop family. But I'm hearing less and less that that's necessary these days, and in fact that it's more crowded to go at rope drop because everybody's trying to get into the park. So can you kind of walk us through the process of what it takes now to get from your hotel into the park and onto your first ride of the day?
Yes, I'm going to go through 2 different scenarios.
Okay.
Cool.
First, I'm going to go through the normal scenario. The normal scenario applies to Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and Epcot.
Oh.
And then we're going to talk about Hollywood Studios.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
So, Animal Kingdom, Magic Kingdom, and Epcot don't have a crazy demand for bus transportation in the morning to get to the park.
I wonder Star Wars, why that is Star Wars.
I wonder Star Wars. So, however, if you don't rent a car or you don't drive to your hotel, you need to get to the bus stop very early if they're still running the way they are now. The way the buses are running is they run about 30 to 45 minutes before park opening. And the buses now, instead of holding 70 to 100 people, hold 6 parties.
Ooh.
All right.
And six parties is pretty light,
Right.
Right. Yeah.
But when we stayed at Saratoga, we weren't on a bus at any point that had to turn people away, except when we left Epcot as rain was approaching.
Huh.
That was the only time we got bottlenecked, was leaving Epcot.
Did you say as rain was approaching?
Yeah, people saw the rain and they said, "Oh, we should probably get out of here."
Those were sad people.
I was gonna say, I feel like I've had more days like that at Epcot than I have had non-days like that at Epcot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. Go on.
No, you're good. So, for the most part, even getting in, there's not a real bottleneck at security. There's not a bottleneck at bag check. Oh, new information.
Yeah.
Notification alert.
Oh, hang on. Okay, get ready. I'm gonna do something. This new device has sound effects built in. So you ready? This is the new.
Okay.
This is the breaking news stinger. Was it too quiet? We gotta do it again. Here we go. Breaking news.
All right.
It's terrible. I'm never going to use that again.
No, I think you need to use it every time, please.
It's probably a copyright violation. We're going to get flagged on YouTube because I used the built-in. That sound was trademarked from the Zoom Corporation because they made this PodTrack P4. So anyway, moving on.
That's a lot of editing.
Breaking news. Breaking news alert.
Okay.
Raise your virtual hand if you were really tired of the security guards going through all the zipper parts of your bags as you went through security.
Yes, my virtual hand is in the air.
Your virtual hand is in the air.
All of my hands, virtual and real.
I have great news for you.
Oh.
When you go through security, you will go through one of two scenarios. Scenario one is the normal metal detectors, and the normal metal detectors require you to take any large water bottles, those big thermo flask things, or umbrellas out of your bag, and you hand them to the security guard, or you put them in a bin. Everything else stays in your bag.
Oh.
And you get to walk through the metal detector, including your phones and your keys and everything. And I have not beeped once while doing that.
Wow.
So we usually carry our flask around, our big thermo flask metal water container, because we're dying of heat, dying of thirst with our masks on. Yeah. So that's scenario number one. Scenario number two are these fancy new metal detector scanner things. And this consists of a security cast member with like an iPad standing behind the unit, and you just go strolling through with absolutely everything you have. Nice. And if they see something, or if something triggers in your bag, I'm waving my hands like I'm showing you that something's triggering.
Oh yes, I see that.
I can see it in my mind.
Then, right, and then they'll pull you to the side and have you open your bag, or ask you to go through it with you. So no more having people touch all your stuff.
That's
nice.
Great
that
news.
Makes a lot of sense right now.
It does make a lot of sense.
And number one, it was a little intrusive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
And number two, it took a long time.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I'm less concerned about the intrusiveness and more concerned about the time.
Right?
I know that's sad.
And the other thing is they stopped doing fingerprints, or not fingerprints, but the biometric scanning. Supposedly Universal started back up with theirs, and they're wiping it down in between guests, but Disney has not yet. I've heard that they're going to resume that, to link your finger to your ticket, but as of yesterday, we just tapped our magic band and we were in the park. So
excellent.
Cool.
Again, speed up instead of having the kids trying to put their finger on it 42 times.
Right. Seems like they're having to do a lot of weigh the options. Is it better to have people crowded at a bottleneck, or is it better to just
where do you want to have your crowd?
Fingerprints,
Right.
Interesting.
Do they do a temperature scan? Is there a temperature scan mixed into any of that, like X-ray scanning?
Yeah. So no, it's not. That's not a part of the X-ray machine. They have partnered. Disney has partnered with Advent Health, and there are Advent Health team members out in tents before you get to security.
Okay.
And you walk up, and they beep your forehead, and they give you a smile and a wave, and you're on your way.
Cool.
Excellent.
If you, for some reason, you have a temperature, I think they have little tents to the side that you might just be able to cool down for a minute and see how you're doing. Mm-hmm. But it's again, not a backup, no bottlenecks. Even the crowded places, no bottlenecks.
Excellent. So, all right, you mentioned Hollywood Studios does not abide by
Okay.
these.
Yeah,
by
what happens there?
By this rule,
Okay.
which is where everybody's going
So-
because they're all trying to race for that Rise of the Resistance boarding pass and check out
Right.
Mickey and Minnie
Right.
and stuff like that.
So currently, Hollywood Studios opens at 10, and they are releasing Rise of the Resistance boarding groups at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Mm.
And most of the time, you really want to get in that 10 a.m. set of boarding groups, because if something happens with the ride, or they're going slow, or something breaks down, if you're getting your boarding group after 2 p.m., there's a chance that you might not be able to experience it that day, and you'll have to come back and do it again.
Which is hard because you have to make a park reservation
Right.
beforehand
Right.
to get in there.
Right. So we're staying at Saratoga Springs, my family of 4. We got up in the morning and we got down to the bus stop at 9:25, and the park opened at 10.
Okay.
Now,
Seems reasonable.
right. 'Cause you're taking a Disney bus, right? It's taking you right to the
you're going
entrance.
right to the drop off. It's maybe a 10 or 15-minute drive, if that, to Studios, because
Right.
Saratoga's not far.
Now, a few days prior in our trip, we drove over to Hollywood Studios, and we still made it in, but there was a very long line to get into the parking lot.
Mm.
The main entrance gates were flooded because everybody local is trying to go to ride Rise of the Resistance.
Right.
So if you're staying at a resort, you now have that opportunity to hop the bus and avoid that front parking entrance area and go in the back way on your bus.
Well, yeah, that
So,
seems like a good
day
call.
2, so day 2, we said, okay, we're gonna get on this bus. So
Yeah.
we're running late. We felt like we were running late, 9:25, and we looked up, and the bus schedule says buses depart 30 minutes prior to park opening.
All right.
Okay.
And we went, really? That's it? Like,
Okay, but now you're 5 minutes early.
right. Well, I'm thinking back to the Josh and Jay days
Oh
of
gosh.
I'm gonna go get in at rope drop
Yeah.
at Magic Kingdom, an hour early.
Yeah.
And stand there,
We only ever slept
get
3
tired,
hours a night,
right?
I think.
Yeah. So back to the bus stop. Okay, 9:25, 9:29, the bus pulls up. So hey,
All right.
he's a minute early.
There you go. Good job.
We were the first bus stop. There's 5 bus stops at Saratoga Springs.
Oh boy.
Oh.
But hey, at least we were the first ones on
That's
the
good.
6-party bus, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
that's good.
Bus stop
Remember, our
5's going to be
buses
pretty
only takes-
sad.
Right. So we picked up our other parties throughout the resort, and we pulled into Hollywood Studios at 9:50.
Okay.
We got off the bus at 9:50, so that leaves us 10 minutes
Oh boy.
to get through. Right? Ooh, yeah. It's starting to sweat.
I'm
right?
getting a little nervous for you.
9:54. I'm tapping my magic band and walking in the
Whoa.
park.
Wow.
That's
That'll-
a pretty
that'll
quick
tell
run
you-
from the bus to the gate.
It was smooth. They have so many cast members running temp scans, and Hollywood Studios is that magic X-ray
Oh, okay.
or that
Okay.
magic metal detector. I shouldn't call it an X-ray. I don't even know what it is. The magic metal detector that you can just go busting
Magical
through.
DNA resequencer.
Right. Yeah. Oh, you're not scary. Oh, well, you're not dangerous. I know I'm scary. And so, 9:54, we walked in the park and, found our corner to try to get Rise of the Resistance boarding groups. That process has gotten a lot smoother as well. Used to, you'd have to click on your boarding group and you'd have to select all the members in your party. And some of us who have family members in our My Disney Experience app have way too many people on our list, and you have to go scrolling down
Yeah,
and I have to
sorry.
go scroll. I'm
Sorry
sitting
about
there
that.
waving my finger on the thing. No, Jay's not here. Julie's not here. Aiden's not here. No, Sandy's not here.
It gives
And
you an
then
opportunity to miss us, though.
Sandy's not here.
Right.
The other Sandy's not here. The third Sandy ID isn't here.
The comp ticket's
Oh,
not
the
here.
comp tickets and the guest
and
passes.
it's crazy. And so it used to, I'd go through that and, I missed it because you have 10 seconds to get your boarding group.
Why didn't you just, get us all in there, man?
I wish I could have, But now they've changed it to where when you click join boarding group, it knows who in your party is in the park.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that makes good sense.
So you
Just
click
follows the
join
magic
and boom,
bands.
and you then get your boarding group as long as you're one of the first people at 10 o'clock.
Nice.
Funny story. The first day we went and we drove, Andrew has his phone out too. So you can have multiple people on the same account trying to push and get your boarding groups in. Andrew was
tip.
really excited because Andrew got boarding group number 3.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty high on the list.
That's really high. I think the best we had ever done was 10 or 12. So he was pretty psyched about 3. Well, when we took the bus, Dad got in first. And I got boarding group number 2.
Oh.
Nice. The new clubhouse leader.
He was so sad. It's like,
Yeah,
man.
you can't be too sad, though, because you still get to ride Rise of the Resistance. So not a bad deal.
Absolutely. And the days that we went, it didn't have any mechanical problems because it had been having some trouble after it got hit by lightning a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
hearing about that.
We were happy
craziness.
to see it up. I can't say enough good things about the ride. I love Star Wars Land. I love that ride. I love Smuggler's Run. I could go on about it for a while.
Yeah, that'll be
Awesome.
another episode. We'll come back to you, I bet. But yeah, we're definitely looking forward to getting down there to check that
can't
all
wait.
out and just spend some time wandering and exploring all the nooks and crannies and stuff. So bottom line, do you feel safe and comfortable walking around Disney World right now?
Absolutely, yes.
And no one's paying you to say that.
Absolutely no. I wish.
Sadly,
if
I know.
anybody would like to pay me to say absolutely yes, I'm raising my virtual hand for that one.
There you
Right.
go. Excellent.
Nobody can tell you who to trust or what numbers to trust or anything like that. But as far as we know, and as far as what everyone's been told, there haven't been any confirmed spreading cases from either park.
That's amazing.
And again, I commend first Universal for opening and doing what they did, and the way Disney's handled it is just amazing. One thing I did forget to mention is they built plexiglass walls along a lot of their queues inside where you're waiting. If at any point you had to kind of switch back and forth with people next to you, they've built plexiglass walls. So not only do you have your mask and your 6 foot of space in between, but you've also got that protective layer between you and the party next to you. So it's besides having a mask on and things just being weird in life. Disney's Disney, guys. It's
That's
great.
Awesome.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for calling in and letting us pick your brain and telling some stories and letting us all know what it's like down there right now. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody is smarter having listened to this podcast tonight.
All right.
Yes.
yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Excellent. Yes.
That's all you.
So, and if you are out there listening and you have questions or comments, feel free to comment on this post on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you find it. I realize that I've forgotten to give our email address since we started. So if you want to send us an email, it's ourdisneyopinions@gmail.com. So you can reach out to us there. If you want to talk trip planning, you can get us at jason@goofygetaways.com. And anything that, if you want to share your opinions or your thoughts or your ideas, if you have a 3 things segment suggestion, or if you have a regular discussion segment that you'd like to suggest, feel free to add those in, because in the end, these have been our Disney opinions, and we say thank you for listening to them.